What's going on, good people? Hope everyone is doing well. Excuse the, I'm sure you can see it through here, lazy red eyes. I've been up since 2 this morning. I went to bed about 11. Been up since about 2, and it's 5 o'clock now. And when I'm up like this, I'm constantly thinking, and my mind is racing. So sometimes I'll just read, or write. And lately, I haven't been doing a lot of that. I haven't been consistent with it, and I'm trying to do more of it. So, yeah. Anyway, I came across this article while I was browsing the internet and browsing Instagram in particular. And a writer posted this. It says, "What Kobe's death has taught me about how black men mourn." And that was powerful for me. And then there's a caption where it says, "Since Kobe Bryant's tragic death, black men have shown emotions that many forgot they have. It's time to let them have their wake for the NBA legend and show that despite stereotypes, they're human." And I want to read a small portion of what was in the comments. It says, "Since enslavement, our men have been seen as property, sexual deviant brutes with no humanity or tenderness to speak of. They've been portrayed as unfeeling caricatures and dismissed as emotionally unintelligent aggressors who only seek to pound their chests and assert their dominance while instilling fear in the hearts of their women and white counterparts." Um, that said a lot. That said a whole lot to me. Yes, it is time to let men, black men, us, mourn properly. Um, and there's more to mourning for Kobe Bryant and his daughter. And this doesn't dismiss the other people that were on the plane. We're talking specific to black men, and we're talking specific about a black man and his child, um, and even more so a black man that has been in most of our lives for a better part of 20 years in one way or another. Whether it was watching him on the basketball court, whether it was some brothers meeting him, whether it was those that played with him, those of us that were consistent with watching his games on television, collecting his memorabilia, whatever it was. Those of us that have gotten in touch with who he is since his retirement from basketball and watching how he moved with his family, his daughters, his businesses, his speaking engagements. So there's a lot that we got to know about him over this time, and it really bothers me that other black men have got on these platforms and are criticizing those of us who feel some kind of way, in reference to, well, why are you celebrating or mourning a celebrity that you didn't know that never did anything to you, or for you, I'm sorry, never did anything for you, and so on and so forth. Well, I mean, don't we mourn people in our families who we've never met to some degree? Don't you mourn for a neighbor, a coworker, someone you kind of see all the time, and you know they pass a bus driver, a owner of the local grocery store, or in our case, the bodega. um, don't you mourn these people because they've been some part of your life at some point? So to criticize men and try to label it as um, we're following a celebrity, we're praising a celebrity that's never done anything for us, is ridiculous. Um, and just a little sidebar, we have to step back from that. These men, these women, doesn't matter the color of the skin at this point, that have gone through whatever they've gone through to reach the heights of their careers, their chosen careers, and they're making money and so on and so forth, the fame and all. Excuse me. We have to get away from assuming, because that's really what it is, assuming that they should give to us. It would be nice. It would be generous. It would be helpful. But that's not their job. That's not their job. And I will admit, there were many years when I would have said the same thing. They need to give back. They don't really have to. It's not their obligation. Um, it would be helpful in certain situations, but it's not their obligation. And we could have a long discussion about that. But I want to go all the way back to where I started, which was um, black men being able to show emotion. That's what the stark naked truth um, was built on. I was one of those men. Didn't know how to show my emotions. Didn't know how to express myself in a way that would allow others to help me process, um, help me prepare to help the next man, the next boy. Um, and I'm not discounting women on this one, but um, men don't usually speak to their feelings, and that's why so many of us are. I don't want to use messed up anymore. So many of us are confused and unable to process the dramas in our lives. So um, I've watched brothers who you look at as some of the strongest um, and most careless, not careless, careless uh, individuals, at least on paper. But you see, since Kobe's death, they've been hurt. They've shown they've been hurt. There's tears. There's anger. There's disappointment. There's depression. Um, and it's also made these same men reflect on lives lost that were more immediate to them, their fathers, their mothers, their uncles, their daughters, their nieces, just whomever. It's made them reflect more and realize that they have to they have to express themselves, give people an opportunity to know what they feel about them and how they feel for them, um, in order that when you get to a tragic moment like this, though it hurts and it's going to continue to hurt, you're better able to process it. I think about when my brother passed away. Um, God, the good thing about this memory is I've pretty much forgotten the number of years that it has been. What's good about that is because for a time I counted the days he was away from me, and it was draining. It was draining and was straining. But it's been well over 35 years. It's a little more. It's not an exact number, but it's been well over 35 years. And I didn't know how to process it. My dad was devastated by it. My uncles that were immediately around me all the time, or in my immediate space, I should say, they were devastated by it. My friends, many of them, way too young to really understand what had happened, and help me through it, and some mourning the way I was mourning because they were so close to me and to us, to him and I. So they didn't even know how to help me with that. And I don't discredit any of the women that were in my family. My grandmother, great grandmother, no, great grand was gone by that point. But my grandmother, my aunts, my cousins, my older cousins. Um, I don't. It's not that they couldn't have done it, but one, I didn't open up to give them the opportunity, and two, what they did do was good. I just felt like, as I feel today, I think I needed a man. I said I think I felt like. Let me back that up. I now know that the feeling I had was I needed that man to stand in front of me and help me process that. Not that women can't, but that's what I needed, and that's what a lot of men need. And yeah, so when I lost him, I wasn't able to process that, and my mourning period lasted, and this is no exaggeration, it lasted for the better part of 30 years. Um, I got anxiety and depression and just a real uneasy feeling whenever I knew that date was coming along, August 19th. It was so painful. But once I got in touch with myself and in touch with my emotions and knew that not only could not only could I speak to someone, but people would hear me. Um, this movement about black men and our emotions and our mental health is serious. We have to take it as serious as possible. We have to understand that we've been traumatized, and the trauma has lasted for generations. And we talk about breaking cycles. This is that time. This is that time where we need to just um, allow these things to pour out, and those who love us need to allow us to do that. Um, I know I'm kind of all over the place with this, but again, very little sleep and just thoughts running through my head. I want to just jump over to something else, and that is um, going back to Kobe, which will lead back into black men in general. Um, you guys see the love he displayed for his child. Um, it was amazing. It was amazing. We go back to all these pictures that everyone's been posting and videos, and it was taken for granted when you'd see him hug or kiss or share a smile or hug. I said that already. you know, it was taken for granted what he was doing, and you notice it's not until after his death, after her death, that now everyone is looking at these images and they're saying, God, he really took time with his kid. Well, that's something you, yes, you need to really observe with the men around you. You need to look at the men who are taking that time right now with their daughters, with their sons too, but with their children, but especially those little girls. I happen to be one of those girl dads. That's the big hashtag. Um, four daughters, four daughters, who I love tremendously. I can't love one more than the other, and they won't let me. Um, I'm a girl dad, and what that means for me is there's something special about that bond. It's something special about the way they look at you, the way they get your emotions stirring, the way you feel when you see those beautiful creatures just roll up on you. It's amazing. Um, we have to identify that part of a man now, not after he's gone. Um, I don't believe in praising fathers for being fathers, um, but praise a father for being a father, if you know what I mean. Especially the black men. We have been run down about what we don't do for so many years, for so many decades, for centuries. Show us the love that we genuinely show. Show it back by acknowledging what we've done, who we are, and what we mean. Um, I thank those that identify me as a good dad. Some say great dad. I like to wear that label. I thank my daughters for really encouraging me. Maybe not so much in words, but in their actions, and the way they receive me, reach out to me, and on all kinds of things to, let me know that I'm there. I'm on their mind. I appreciate that. And ladies, and I'm speaking to the mothers of these children, it doesn't matter what your relationship with that man is like. It really doesn't. Um, because your focus, his focus, should be the children. So if you guys don't get along, for whatever the reason is, I honestly, I'm putting no levels or degrees on what's better or worse in terms of why you guys are not together. I don't care. I don't care, and quite frankly, I don't think anybody cares. What should be the concern is how you treat him in front of or behind his back when his children are present. Um, there's no room for name calling on any level. No name is easier or less traumatizing than another. There's no need for name calling. There's no need for yelling. And so just the whole performance, it has to go. It has to go. You have to allow the relationship between that man and that child to develop and grow organically. And I guarantee you that that father will be what his child needs him to be. All right, I've rambled enough. I didn't expect this thing to go 16 minutes, but hopefully you guys will listen all the way through, leave some feedback, and all I can say to this is that's the stark naked truth. Peace and blessings.